It's time for another real estate market update, and this time I might be bringing you good news depending on where you stand, and we're going to get started right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Knoxville with me, Ben Barredo, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. On this channel, we cover life in Knoxville, Tennessee. So if you are interested in the area, or if you're just curious what it's like to live here, make sure to come back for more. Today, we're going to cover the numbers for both the U.S. economy and the Knoxville real estate market. Starting, as always, with the U.S. economy, let's jump right into it. So across the country, active listings has actually gone up significantly, or insignificant number, depending on how you look at it, but we saw an 18.7 increase in active listings. On top of that, unsold homes and pending listings declined by 1.4%. So what that tells us is the market is slowing down all across the country. New listings are up in June compared to last year, and they're up by 4.5%. Housing prices do remain up, though I'll share an interesting fact about the Knoxville home prices here shortly. And the June national median list price for listings was $450,000. That's up 16.9% year over year, and that's up over 30% compared to June of 2021. Even the national days on market are up, where we used to see homes on the market for just a couple of weeks. Now we're seeing homes on the market for 32 days on average. And that's 4 days less than this time last year. Okay, that's enough of the U.S. economy. Now let's talk about Knoxville. And in Knoxville, we saw a change in the average and median list price, and that's where we're going to start today. So we saw a dip in sales prices of homes in Knoxville in the month of June. The average price of sales dropped in June under $400,000 for the first time in a while, and the new average sales price is about $393,000. This is more than likely the start of appreciation in homes slowing down. Whereas we saw massive growth in appreciation for such a long time, we're probably going to see that growth start to drop. Even though that doesn't mean, prices are still rising, home values are still growing at rates that are mostly unheard of. Now, in 2021, we ended the year with an average of 30% growth in appreciation. This year, in 2022, we're expected to just average about 8% growth. So as you can see, there has been a huge change in sales prices and home appreciation in Knoxville, and that was the little hint that I wanted to share with you from earlier. Now, the median sales price is $326,000. Now, I like the median sales price, or the median number, better, because the fact of the matter is, with averages, you could sell 10, 20 homes for $20 million and then sell 1,000 homes for $400,000, and that average is going to be way off because of those expensive homes. The median gives us a good number on where a majority of the people are buying homes at, or where they're closing on the new sales price at, and that is much lower than the average, but still in the $300,000 range. So with the sales price out of the way, let's talk about the sales to list price ratio. And again, if you don't know what this is what homes are being listed at and what they're selling at. Usually in a healthy market or in a buyer's market, that percentage is going to be below 100%, somewhere around 90%, 95%, maybe even less in a really good buyer's market. But in this market, we are still at 101.8%. average list price to sales price ratio, which means the average home is selling over asking price, which means that there are still bidding war situations and buyers competing for the sale of a home by upbidding each other. So the next topic is numbers of homes sold and the absorption rate. In the Knoxville Area Association of Realtors, there were 2,100 properties sold in the month of June. That is less than the amount of properties sold in June of 2021. If you look at the line, you can see that homes last year were selling at a slower pace, which means this year's market is starting to cool down. The homes are still selling relatively fast. Alright, the next number we're going to look at is the average days on market, or the average amount of time it takes a home to sell once it goes active. Now, the average days on market in Knoxville is actually at an all-time low, which means houses are still selling extremely fast. However, we are starting to see a trend in the direction of a slowdown. More days on market means we're moving towards a buyer's market where there's more options, there's more inventory, and buyers aren't rushing to grab the first house they see that fits most of their checklist or half of their checklist. All right, now let's talk about months of supply. As far as months of supply or inventory in Knoxville, we have more homes for sale right now than we have seen in a long time. That's great for buyers, and it also means more competition for sellers. We need a lot more inventory before we can call this an even market or a buyer's market. I don't see that happening for probably another year or more, but we are seeing a trend in that direction. As far as new listings go, we have seen more homes enter the market in June than we've seen in a very long time. It's still not enough to feed demand of the buyers in the market, but you know, it's helping out with slowing growth. It's helping with giving buyers some options. It also helps with buyers not throwing their kids at the first house that they see. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to watch last week's video where I talk about 5 dog-friendly restaurants in Knoxville, and you can watch that by clicking right here. Well, that's it for today's real estate market update. I hope you guys appreciate the information. I hope it helps you out with some decision making. And as always, if you have questions, you can hit me up, give me a call, reach out anytime. Contact information is right here, and it's also in the description. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and until next time, bye-bye.